Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. If you have not heard, the OCG this past week just announced their new Christmas set. It's a small side set. It only has 6 new cards in it, but they've already told us what 3 archetypes are getting support from it. So those 3 archetypes have already been confirmed to be Orcus, Dragonmaid, and Punk. We've already talked about Orcus. It's time to talk about Dragonmaid. This is a big fan favorite archetype, and there's a lot to get into. So I want to talk about 1, everything the archetype already has in Dragonmaid. 2, what I think they're missing, but I guess twofold, like not only in terms of like how the archetype plays and what it feels like the archetype may really appreciate in terms of support, as well as like lore-wise for the archetype, like what makes sense direction-wise in that sense as well. So let's get started here. Let's just get rolling into all the Dragonmaid cards that already exist and some outside cards that also are super important for the deck. Let's start, of course, with our small Dragonmaid. So, of course, all the main deck Dragonmaids have their little lady forms, and then they have their big dragon forms that they trade into. The first one is Chamber. She's good. She rotas for any Dragonmaid monster. Or, sorry, Dragonmaid spell or trap. Then you have Kitchen, searches any monster. Parlor, Foolish Burials any Dragonmaid card. Nurse can reborn something or summon from hand, I believe. Laundry mills you 3. That's a better freaking paleo card than it is in this deck. And then you have the big form. So Tinkek is your kitchen equivalent. She can be discarded to be like a quick effect honest on the opponent's turn. That's pretty cool. Lorepar can be discarded to like target a monster on the field, make it so it can't activate its effects for the rest of the turn. Has some applications going second, but it's not a quick effect, so it's really actually mid. Ernest can be quick effect discarded to special summon another level 4 lore Dragonmaid from hand. That one's actually okay. It can help you extend through situations, but it's only hand. If this was Grave as well, it'd be so much better because we'd actually be able to like, it would make Nurse a 1 card like Hieratic Seal. And then Nude Jarl. Nude Jarl can discard this card, target a monster in either graveyard, shuffle into the deck. Again, not quick effect, so it's just mid. It's just okay. It's hitting like a resource in your opponent's grave, not actually interrupting them. From there, we move to the spells and traps. You have Changeover. This is a mandatory card in the deck because without it, the engine doesn't really make Shao as reliably as you'd want, but it's a better than Polymerization Fusion spell card. It's still not like out of this world good, but it's like decent and it gets itself back to hand pretty good. So I like that. Next up, we have Hospitality. This is the winner for the spells. It's a quick effect reborn that summons from hand or grave for a Dragonmaid, and then it lets you Foolish Burial a Dragonmaid with the same attribute. So if you like summon the small one, you get to Foolish the big one and get it in rotation, which is really nice. But yeah, pretty good card, especially since it's a... Oh, actually, this one's a normal spell. I don't know why I thought this one was a quick play. Then you have Welcome. Welcome's terrible. Don't play Welcome. And then you have Send Off. Send Off also pretty good, pretty terrible. Because, again, it just extends from the hand. So just really, really lackluster. So these are the 2 spells that are playable, Changeover and Hospitality. Then you move to the traps. I think both the traps are solid because not only are both traps like uninterruption, they're not the craziest interruption in the world, but they're solid, and they also both offer you some sort of follow-up. So Tidying has like an effect in grave to like get you a resource back. Downtime has the ability to just do something every single turn, and it does what it does by returning your Dragonmaids to hand, so they don't like get killed off the field. And since all your Dragonmaids like trigger on summon, you just get to keep doing their effects like every turn, which is really good. And then for the extra deck, you have House, which is like the lady form of your boss monster. She's pretty nice. She's not that good, but you want to be ending on Shao anyway, because Shao is your Omni Negate. This one's really, really good. So I wouldn't hate to increase the deck's potency at making Shao a little more consistently, but it's a solid boss monster. Then for a couple other tools that I think are the most relevant to this deck are this guy here. This is Dark End Evaporation Dragon. If you don't know what he does, he can summon himself by banishing any level 8 dragon monster from extra deck, and then just on field he's Polymerization. He says do a fusion summon, and if you look, the monster we really want to make, Shao, she requires any Dragonmaid plus any level 5 or higher dragon. So he's already the dragon, so he is Poly plus the first dragon. You just need to put him on the field and have a Dragonmaid either in hand or on field as well, and you can get straight into Shao. He also has the ability to just like pop a monster on the field for free. so he's just better. There's also a light version of him. He's the better one. If you want more copies of him, you can start playing the light, but he's the better one overall, I think. The Bestials make a ton of sense in this deck too. This is an archetype that is pretty normal summon reliant, so having just generic cards like Bestials that can dual function as hand traps as well as just extenders to help you play through interaction is really, really good. To help you at least get to like spheres plus potential, like spheres plus you know, the trap potentially for the Bestials or whatever, like, or regained, and go from there. Definitely a useful tool. Magnamut is just as useful as Lubellion. Those are the two kings of the Bestial engine. And of course, Hieratic Seal. Any dragon deck you mention, you have to look at this card. This card is crazy. This card is, in fact, I would say Dragonmaid actually makes better use of Hieratic Seal than like actual Dragon Link does. It's that crazy in this deck. With how this deck is able to like rotate resources like crazy. So that's another really cool piece to keep in mind. But that's everything that I would say are like the big things. You can also keep in mind that dragons have access to a ton of extra like combo potential tools. The Rocket Engine, if you want to play the Rocket and their quick play spell. You could even try and throw Tenpai in there now that they're an engine that just does help you spam some dragons onto the field. Like, there are legit so many different options if you want to play this deck more combo oriented. But obviously the like basis of this deck is to play more as a grindy, slower, control based strategy. So here's where we're at. I think in terms of what the archetype needs, it needs a better main deck dragon. All the big dragons are so mid. We went through them, right? This is Honest. This is a non-quick effect Veiler. This is a summon one from hand, and this one is a non-quick effect DD Crow. Like, they're all so mid. If this was a quick effect DD Crow, if this was a quick effect Veiler, they'd already be in. Like, the deck would probably just be better anyway, and that's problematic because you have to play these just for the deck to work, but they're all super mid. Luckily enough, though, I don't know if you guys did the math on this, but we counted 4 of the big dragons and 5 of the little dragons. So technically, we are still waiting on Chamber Dragonmaid. Ask any Dragonmaid fan, they will tell you that is the card we've been waiting for years. And Chamber's already really good. She searches spells and traps, which includes the potential of searching just the Reborn spell that then helps you Foolish Burial her counterpart, which already works. So, we're waiting on her counterpart. I think the cleanest thing they can do for the deck is just give them a really good main deck big dragon, right? It's important to note that she only summons level 7 or higher. If you look through all the main deck ones, they either summon a level 8 or a level 7. So she's a 7, Kitchen's an 8, Parlor's an 8, Nurse is a 7, Laundry is a 7, right? So you would expect her corresponding dragon to be a 7. And you still would probably have to play an 8 with her because, like, you want to make sure all of them have, you at least have one target to get in rotations. They can all, like, have their quick effect to swap with. But this card needs to be better. I honestly don't even care what it does. It just needs to be good. It just needs to be good. It needs to be, it could be a hand trap, unlike some of these other ones that are just not quick effects. It could just be an extender that's, like, actually an extender, not like these ones that just kind of come out of the hand. That would be so huge for the deck. That would be a really nice piece, like for a deck that's like being forced to play really mid cards as part of their engine, but don't do quite enough. So that would be the first thing I would look for from this new support. The second thing's hard to pinpoint, right? Like, you've got 2 new spell targets. I guess you could ask for like a starter. Or extender, something in that vein, right? Because the deck is pretty normal summon reliant. That's probably something I would look to like maybe hone in on like, since the deck is so normal summon reliant, you know, a way to extend through your normal summon getting interacted with, like, because the deck historically, it's like a lot of times you go normal summon, if you get Imperm Veiler, you kind of pass, and the deck can kind of work with that sometimes, but I think with the speed and power level of the game, it doesn't do enough. You need to at least be getting to Hieratic Seal in those situations. So maybe just some other form of an extender, whether it's another spell that's also searchable off of Chamber, that's like, but also as a starter on its own, that would be really nice. Maybe a Just another main deck monster that is just an extender as well, like just puts you a dragon on the field, because that's all we need. We don't need this deck to go crazy wombo combo. We just need to make spheres through 2 interactions, right? Those are winnable duels because your opponent's low on resources already. If you have 2 hand traps plus the spheres, good luck to them, because you're going to have like 4 more cards going into next turn with how Dragonmaid rotates into more resources over and over again. I think that makes a lot of sense. They could also go about it from an extra deck standpoint. We only have House and Chamber, or House and Shao. So if they wanted to give them some other tool to like go into in the extra deck, that's something they could also try to do. But I don't know exactly the best way to do it, because a lot of times you do just want to go straight into Shao and not get crazy with it. So not totally sure what to do there. But the Chamber makes sense. They need to make Chamber's dragon form, and it needs to be good. It needs to power creep the other big dragons. It just has to be done. So hopefully that's the first piece. The second piece is going to be hard to pinpoint what it could be. It feels like it could be kind of anything. We just hope that one's also like going to do a good favor for the deck. But I do think it's in a good position. I will say I had multiple people after the announcement of the video say like Dragonmaid is for sure like tiers below Orchist and Punk. I wholeheartedly do not believe that at all. I think all 3 are rough plays in the current format, in the current state of the game. And maybe Dragonmaid's the weakest of the 3 at this point, although I think there are arguments that Dragonmaid right now is better than Orchist. I don't know about Punk, because Punk is the newest and most potent engine of the 3, and they have Gold Pride to combine with, but I think part and due to all of the amazing dragon cards that just already exist to help this archetype, and the tools that they already have, I think people are sleeping on this deck. I think this deck does have potential to be good. Plus, this was a deck that was historically just played with like kind of like modern day expectations, like a deck with like 20 to maybe 23 engine cards, and like the rest were just like non-engine. Just play a shitload of non-engine, you're good to go. That was what this deck was doing before it was cool, and I think it may still have the chance to do that again. So we'll see. But I'm out of here for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. As always, guys, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, what you want Dragonmaids to get. If you want to get a little more specific on this, I'd love to see what you guys' thoughts are. I never played Dragonmaid because, one, it was really expensive, and 2, it kind of came in and out of the game really quickly before everything became like affordable. So it was kind of a tough place to be, but still, I'd still be curious for anybody who did play the deck and does know the deck pretty in depth on like exactly what they would want to see, if they want to get specific on what they think the deck should get from 2 brand new cards. But yeah, that's it for tonight. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I will bring you anything news related going forward. We should be getting right into Supreme Darkness. We should get some pretty heavy reveals over the next 3-ish weeks. I'll bring you everything that comes there. So stay tuned to the channel for that stuff, as well as a discussion on Punk as well around the corner. I'll see you later. Thanks for watching. Peace.